Lunar catastrophe. Dr. Samantha Chen's eyes darted across the shuttle's control panel, her fingers dancing over the holographic displays with practiced precision. The routine maintenance mission to Lunar Base Alpha had been uneventful so far, almost boring. As Earth's luminous blue sphere slowly rotated into view, Samantha allowed herself a small smile. No matter how many times she saw it, the sight never failed to take her breath away. Shuttle Artemis to Lunar Base Alpha, beginning final approach, she reported, her voice calm and professional. Copy that, Artemis. You're clear for landing pad 3, came the crisp reply from Mission Control. Samantha began the landing sequence, the shuttle's engines humming softly as they adjusted for the moon's lesser gravity. That's when the first alarm blared. Warning: micrometeorite activity detected. The shuttle's AI announced, its synthetic voice incongruously serene. Samantha's calm demeanor vanished. Artemis to base, we have a situation. Unexpected meteor. Her words were cut short as a violent shudder ran through the shuttle. The view screen lit up with dozens of tiny, rapidly moving objects. It wasn't just a few stray rocks. It was a full-blown micrometeorite shower. Evasive maneuvers. Samantha shouted, more to herself than the AI. Her hands flew over the controls, trying to steer the shuttle away from the deadly barrage. But in the vacuum of space, even dust-sized particles became lethal projectiles at these velocities. The shuttle rocked again, harder this time. Warning lights flashed across every display. Samantha's heart raced as she realized the gravity of the situation. The micrometeorites were tearing through the shuttle's hull like it was tissue paper. Mayday! Mayday! This is Shuttle Artemis. We've sustained critical damage from micrometeorite impact. Systems failing. Require immediate. Another impact cut off her distress call. The main power flickered and died, leaving only the red glow of emergency lighting. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine as she heard the telltale hiss of escaping air. The hull breach was worse than she thought. With the main engines offline, the shuttle began to tumble, caught in the moon's weak but inexorable gravity. Samantha fought against her restraints, trying to reach the manual override for the backup thrusters. If she could just stabilize the craft, maybe she could manage a controlled crash. As she stretched for the lever, a piece of debris slammed into the view screen, sending spiderweb cracks across its surface. Samantha recoiled instinctively, knowing that if it shattered, she'd be exposed to the vacuum of space in seconds. Time seemed to slow as the shuttle entered the moon's thin exosphere. Samantha's mind raced through her options, each one bleaker than the last. The shuttle was beyond saving. Her only hope now was survival. With strength born of desperation, she managed to activate her suit's built-in propulsion system. It wasn't designed for atmospheric entry, but it was all she had. As the shuttle began to break apart around her, Samantha took a deep breath and did something that went against every instinct and years of training. She unbuckled her harness. The sudden decompression sucked her out of the disintegrating shuttle like a cork from a bottle. For a terrifying moment, she was in free fall, tumbling end over end, as the moon's cratered surface rushed up to meet her. Fighting down panic, she activated her suit's thrusters, trying to slow her descent. The lunar landscape blurred beneath her as she rocketed across its surface, her trajectory far too fast and shallow for a safe landing. In the distance, she spotted a dark patch, the opening to one of the moon's many lava tube cave systems. It was a long shot, but it was her only chance. Samantha angled her thrusters, aiming for the cave entrance. She hit the lunar surface hard, bouncing and skidding like a stone across water. Each impact sent shockwaves of pain through her body, but her suit absorbed the worst of it. Finally, mercifully, she tumbled into the yawning mouth of the cave. Darkness enveloped her as she rolled and slid down the sloping tunnel, deeper into the moon's mysterious underworld. When she finally came to a stop, Samantha lay still, gasping for breath, her ears ringing in the sudden silence. As the adrenaline began to ebb, the pain set in. Nothing felt broken, but she was certain she'd be one massive bruise by tomorrow, if she lived that long. Gingerly, she pushed herself up, activating her suit's external lights to survey her surroundings. The beam cut through the inky darkness, revealing a vast cavern stretching out before her. Ancient lava flows had carved out this underground chamber eons ago, leaving behind a surreal landscape of smooth walls and bizarre rock formations. But it wasn't the geology that made Samantha's breath catch in her throat. It was the integrity warning flashing on her suit's heads-up display. The impact had compromised her suit's seal. She was losing oxygen. "Think, Sam, think," she muttered to herself, trying to stay calm as she assessed her situation. She was stranded in a lunar cave, her shuttle destroyed, communications down, and now her very lifeline was failing. It was about as bad as it could get. With trembling hands, she reached for the emergency patch kit on her belt. It wasn't meant for repairs this extensive, but it was all she had. As she worked to seal the leaks, her mind raced through survival calculations. Even if she patched every hole, she had maybe 12 hours of air left. The lunar base would have seen her crash, but in the labyrinth of caves, it could take search and rescue days to find her. As she finished applying the last patch, a flicker of movement caught her eye. She froze, hardly daring to breathe. There it was again, a faint, pulsating glow coming from deeper within the cave. Samantha blinked hard, wondering if the lack of oxygen was already making her hallucinate. But no, it was real. Bioluminescent markings, unlike anything she'd ever seen, traced intricate patterns along the cave walls. "That's impossible," she whispered, her scientific mind reeling at the implications. There was no known life on the moon, certainly nothing that could produce such ethereal light. As she watched, transfixed, the patterns seemed to shift and change, almost as if they were beckoning her deeper into the cave. It defied all logic, went against her training and common sense, but Samantha felt an irresistible pull. These markings could be her salvation, or her doom. With one last glance back at the cave entrance, now little more than a pinprick of light in the distance, Samantha made her decision. Whatever mysteries lay deeper in the moon's core, they had to be better than a slow death by suffocation. Her boots crunched softly on the lunar dust as she began to follow the glowing trail, each step taking her further from the known world and deeper into an alien realm hidden beneath the moon's surface. The bioluminescent markings pulsed gently, casting eerie shadows that danced and flickered with her movement. As she ventured deeper, the cave began to change. The rough, natural walls gave way to smoother surfaces that couldn't have been formed by any natural process. And the markings, they were becoming more intricate, more purposeful. This was no random phenomenon. This was a path, a message. With each step, Samantha's heart raced faster, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through her veins. She was on the verge of a discovery that would rewrite human understanding of the moon, of the very possibility of life beyond Earth. But as her suit's oxygen warning beeped insistently, a grim reality set in. Would she live long enough to share this incredible find with the world? Or would her final moments be spent alone, in the depths of the moon, surrounded by the impossible beauty of alien art? Gritting her teeth, Samantha pressed on. Whatever lay ahead, she was determined to face it head-on. She was no longer just an astronaut on a failed mission. She was an explorer on the cusp of humanity's greatest discovery. And nothing, not fear, not dwindling oxygen, not the vast emptiness of space, was going to stop her now. Alien ambush. The bioluminescent trail led Samantha deeper into the lunar caverns, each step taking her further from the familiar and into a realm of impossibility. The eerie glow pulsed with an almost hypnotic rhythm, casting shifting shadows that seemed to dance around her. Despite the dwindling oxygen in her suit, a surge of adrenaline kept her moving forward, driven by equal parts desperation and scientific curiosity. As she rounded a bend in the tunnel, the narrow passage suddenly opened up into a vast chamber. Samantha's jaw dropped in awe. The cavern before her was easily the size of a football stadium, its ceiling lost in darkness high above. But it wasn't the size that took her breath away. It was what filled it. Sleek, otherworldly structures rose from the lunar dust, their surfaces gleaming with the same bioluminescent material that had guided her here. It was unmistakably artificial, a hidden base of some kind. Curved spires interconnected with gossamer thin bridges, creating a cityscape that defied human architecture. "My God," Samantha whispered, her voice barely audible even in the confines of her helmet. "We're not alone." She took a tentative step forward, her mind reeling with the implications of her discovery. Humanity had been searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, and all along, it had been hiding right under their feet. A sudden movement caught her eye. Something shifted in the shadows between the alien structures. Samantha froze, her heart pounding. She wasn't alone. "Hello," she called out, immediately regretting breaking the silence. "I'm Dr. Samantha Chen from Earth. I mean you no harm." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a speed that defied belief, a shape detached itself from the shadows and lunged toward her. Samantha stumbled backward, a scream caught in her throat. The creature before her was unlike anything she had ever seen or imagined. It was vaguely humanoid, but its form seemed to ripple and shift, as if it couldn't decide on a solid shape. One moment it appeared almost crystalline, refracting the bioluminescent light around it, and the next it was as dark and fluid as an oil slick. Two piercing, opalescent eyes fixed on Samantha, filled with an intelligence that was unmistakably alien. The being made no sound, but she felt a pressure in her mind, as if it was trying to communicate directly with her thoughts. I don't understand," Samantha stammered, fighting the urge to run. "Please, I'm not a threat. My ship crashed. I need help." The alien's form rippled again, and suddenly it was holding something, a device of some kind. Before Samantha could react, a beam of energy shot out, enveloping her in a cocoon of shimmering light. Panic set in as Samantha felt herself being lifted off the ground. She tried to move, to reach for anything, but her body wouldn't respond. The alien was moving her, guiding her suspended form deeper into the hidden base. They passed through twisting corridors of the alien structure, each new chamber revealing wonders that would have kept Earth's scientists busy for decades. Strange machines hummed with unknown energies, and holographic displays flickered with symbols beyond human comprehension. Finally, they entered what appeared to be a central chamber. The alien released Samantha from the energy field, and she collapsed to her knees, gasping. What are you?" she managed to ask, looking up at her captor. The alien's form shimmered, and suddenly it spoke, not in sounds, but directly into Samantha's mind. "I am Zix," the thoughts formed in her head, alien yet somehow understandable. "Researcher. Observer. You should not be here, Earth being." Samantha struggled to her feet, her scientific training kicking in despite the surreal situation. "You've been studying us. For how long?" Zix's form rippled, a movement Samantha was beginning to interpret as a sign of agitation. "Millennia. Earth is quarantine. Humans are unpredictable, dangerous. We're not." Samantha began to protest, but she was cut off by a sudden tremor that shook the entire cavern. Dust and small rocks rained down from the ceiling. Zix's form flashed rapidly through several shades. "Unstable. The crash. Your presence has triggered a collapse." As if to emphasize the point, a larger tremor rocked the base. This time, Samantha heard the distinct crack of something vital giving way. "We need to get out of here," she said, her survival instinct overriding her fascination with the alien encounter. Zix seemed to hesitate, its form wavering between several shades. "Cannot leave. Research. Data. Must protect." Another violent shake, and one of the delicate spires in the chamber began to crumble. Samantha realized with growing horror that the entire base might be about to collapse, burying them, and all of Zix's invaluable research, under tons of lunar rock. "Listen to me," Samantha said, forcing herself to sound calm despite the chaos around them. "I'm an engineer. Maybe I can help stabilize the base, but we need to work together. You need to trust me." Zix's eyes fixed on her, seeming to peer into her very soul. For a moment, Samantha feared the alien would simply abandon her to her fate. Then, with a ripple that she somehow knew indicated reluctant agreement, Zix extended a limb towards her. "Come, must reach control center." Together, human and alien raced through the crumbling base. Samantha marveled at how easily Zix navigated the collapsing structures, its fluid form allowing it to slip through gaps and around falling debris. She followed as best she could, her bulky spacesuit a constant reminder of how out of place she was in this alien world. They reached a chamber dominated by a large, pulsating crystal that seemed to be the heart of the base's systems. Zix moved to it, its limbs merging with the crystal's surface. Holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing diagrams of the cave system and scrolling alien text. "Structural integrity failing," Zix communicated. "Cannot stabilize." Samantha's eyes darted over the displays. Though she couldn't read the alien script, the diagrams were clear enough. The base's power systems were overloading, causing the instability. "We need to vent the excess energy," she said, her mind racing. "Is there a way to channel it into the surrounding rock?" Zix's form rippled in what Samantha was beginning to recognize as surprise. Possible, but dangerous, could trigger more extensive collapse. "It's a risk we have to take," Samantha insisted. "Show me the controls." For a moment, Zix seemed to war with itself, centuries of secrecy battling against the immediate need for survival. Then, with a ripple of resignation, it guided Samantha's hands to a series of crystal-like protrusions. "Focus energy. Direct flow," Zix instructed. Samantha took a deep breath and began to work. Her hands moved over the alien controls, guided partly by Zix's instructions and partly by her own intuition. She could feel the energy of the base thrumming through the crystals, wild and barely contained. With careful adjustments, she began to redirect the flow, channeling the excess power into the surrounding lunar rock. The cavern shook violently, and for a terrifying moment, Samantha thought she had made a fatal mistake. Then, gradually, the tremors began to subside. The holographic displays showed the energy level stabilizing, the structural integrity of the base slowly improving. Samantha let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. I think we did it." Zix's form settled into a more stable shape, its eyes fixed on Samantha with a new intensity. "You helped. Saved base. Saved research." "Yeah, well," Samantha said, suddenly feeling the weight of her exhaustion and dwindling oxygen, "maybe that'll show you humans aren't all bad." As if on cue, her suit's warning system blared, indicating critically low oxygen levels. Samantha's vision began to blur, the alien control room spinning around her. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was Zix's form reaching out to catch her, its alien eyes filled with what could only be described as concern. In that moment, suspended between two worlds, Samantha realized that she had not only found an alien life form, she might have just forged humanity's first interstellar alliance. Uneasy alliance. Samantha awoke with a start, her mind foggy and disoriented. The first thing she noticed was that she could breathe easily. Her oxygen levels were stable. The second was that she was no longer wearing her spacesuit, instead finding herself in some kind of translucent, form-fitting garment that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "What the?" she muttered, sitting up slowly. She was in a small, pod-like chamber, its walls pulsing with the same bioluminescence she'd seen throughout the alien base. "Earth being awake," came the now familiar mental voice of Zix. The alien's fluid form coalesced from the shadows, its opalescent eyes fixed on Samantha. "Provided life support. Primitive suit. Inefficient." Samantha's scientific curiosity momentarily overrode her discomfort at the situation. "This material, it's generating oxygen and regulating temperature. Zix's form rippled in what Samantha was beginning to interpret as affirmation. Basic technology. Surprised humans haven't developed similar. Yeah, well, we're full of surprises, Samantha said, carefully standing up. She felt surprisingly good, considering her recent ordeal. Thank you for saving my life. Again. The alien's form shimmered, and Samantha sensed a mixture of emotions: reluctance, curiosity, and something akin to respect. You saved base, saved research, equivalency. Samantha nodded, then looked around the chamber. So, what now? I imagine you can't just send me on my merry way with an alien souvenir suit. Zix's form rippled anxiously. Complicated. Base systems. Damaged. Communications offline. Unable to contact research network. Or. The alien paused, seeming to debate whether to continue. Or what? Samantha pressed. Galactic Council. Zix finished. Governing body. Oversees all sentient species in galaxy. Enforces quarantine of Earth. Samantha's mind reeled at the implications. A galactic governing body. Earth under quarantine. It was almost too much to process. But years of scientific training kicked in, pushing her to focus on the immediate problem. Okay, so we're both stranded here, she said, thinking out loud. Your communications are down, and I'm guessing my crash disabled whatever you were using to stay hidden from our lunar operations. Zix's form rippled in agreement. Correct. Cloaking field offline. Earth devices may detect base now. Samantha's eyes widened as she realized the gravity of the situation. If Earth discovered this alien base, it could lead to panic, maybe even conflict. And if this Galactic Council found out that their secret observation post had been compromised. We need to fix your systems, Samantha said firmly. Get your cloaking back online and restore your communications. Can you show me what's damaged? Zix hesitated, its form shifting through various shapes, as if debating internally. Finally, it extended a limb, gesturing for Samantha to follow. Come, we'll show. They made their way through the alien base, which still bore signs of the recent near collapse. Fallen debris littered the corridors, and some of the bioluminescent lighting flickered erratically. Samantha marveled at the alien architecture, her mind buzzing with questions about its construction and purpose. They reached what appeared to be a central control room. Holographic displays hovered in the air, showing diagrams of the base and streams of alien text. Zix moved to a crystalline structure in the center, interfacing with it directly. Primary systems here, Zix explained, the displays changing to show a complex network of energy flows. Cloaking field generator damage. Communications array offline. Power distribution unstable. Samantha studied the displays intently. While the technology was far beyond anything she'd ever seen, the basic principles seemed somewhat familiar. It looks like the power surges from the collapse overloaded your main systems. If we can reroute the energy flow and bypass the damaged sections. She trailed off, realizing that she was about to start tinkering with highly advanced alien technology. That is, if you're okay with me helping. I know I'm just a primitive human and all. Zix's form rippled in what Samantha was starting to recognize as amusement. Earth being shows understanding. Unexpected. Assistance. Appreciated. With that tentative agreement, they set to work. Samantha found herself in the surreal position of collaborating with an alien being to repair technology beyond human understanding. Yet, as they worked, she was struck by how familiar it felt. The back and forth of ideas, the trial and error of testing solutions. Zix proved to be a patient teacher, explaining concepts that were commonplace to its species, but revolutionary to human science. Samantha, in turn, surprised the alien with her quick grasp of the principles and her novel approaches to problems. As they worked to reroute power and repair damaged systems, Samantha's mind was racing with the implications of everything she was learning. The advances in energy manipulation, materials science, and even basic physics could revolutionize human technology. Part of her was desperate to document everything, to bring this knowledge back to Earth. But another part of her was beginning to understand the reasons behind the quarantine. How would humanity react to the sudden influx of such advanced technology? Would it be used responsibly, or would it lead to even greater conflicts? Zix, she said during a lull in their work, why exactly is Earth quarantined? What made the Galactic Council decide we're too dangerous to contact? The alien's form stilled, its opalescent eyes fixed on Samantha. Humans, unpredictable. Advance quickly, but often violently. Council fears humanity not ready for galactic community. Samantha felt a mixture of indignation and sad understanding. We've made mistakes, sure, but we're capable of so much more. Look at us right now, working together, solving problems. Zix's form rippled thoughtfully. You, different. Adapt quickly. Solve problems creatively. But one individual not representative of species. Before Samantha could argue further, one of the displays began pulsing urgently. Zix moved to it, its form shifting rapidly as it processed the information. Problem. The alien communicated, its mental voice tinged with alarm. Galactic Council ship approaching lunar orbit. Routine check, but if they detect base exposed. The implications hung heavily in the air. If the Council ship discovered that the observation post had been compromised, it could lead to serious consequences, not just for Zix and Samantha, but potentially for all of humanity. How long do we have? Samantha asked, her mind already racing through possibilities. 1 Earth hour, perhaps less, Zix replied. Samantha took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. Then we've got work to do. We need to get that cloaking field back online and fast. As they turned back to their repairs with renewed urgency, Samantha couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. She was no longer just working to save herself or even to protect Zix's research. She was now, improbably, working to safeguard humanity's future in the galaxy. The uneasy alliance between human and alien had suddenly become the thin line between Earth's continued isolation and potential conflict with a vastly superior galactic power. As her hands moved over alien controls with growing confidence, Samantha silently vowed to prove that humanity was ready for the stars, or at least to buy them the time to get there on their own terms. Race against extinction. The alien control room hummed with tension as Samantha and Zix worked feverishly to restore the base's systems. Holographic displays flickered with streams of data, casting an eerie glow across the chamber. Time was running out. Cloaking field at 60% capacity. Zix communicated, its form rippling with agitation. Insufficient to hide base from Council scanners. Samantha wiped sweat from her brow, her mind racing. There has to be a way to boost the signal. What if we rerouted power from non-essential systems? She moved to another console, her fingers dancing across the alien controls with growing confidence. It was still surreal, a human operating technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities, but there was no time for wonder. Every second brought the Council ship closer. Suddenly, a new alert blared through the chamber. Zix's form shimmered in alarm. New problem. The alien communicated urgently. Council ship not alone. Detect Earth vessels approaching lunar far side. Samantha's heart sank. They must have picked up the energy signatures from the base when the cloaking field went down. They're coming to investigate. The situation had just gone from bad to catastrophic. If Earth forces discovered the alien base at the same time as the Council ship arrived, it could spark an interstellar incident, or worse. We need more power, Samantha muttered, her eyes scanning the holographic displays desperately. Then something caught her attention. A pulsing node deep beneath the base. Zix, what's that energy source there? The alien's form stilled, its opalescent eyes fixed on the display. Ancient power core. Predates base. Too unstable to use. Samantha's mind raced, connecting dots. The strange energy field that had disrupted her shuttle, the bioluminescent markings that had led her here. It all pointed to something older, more powerful than even Zix's advanced technology. That's it, she exclaimed. "This isn't just a random observation post. Your people built this base on top of something much older, some kind of ancient lunar installation." Zix's form rippled in what Samantha now recognized as discomfort. Correct. Ancient race, long extinct. Technology, unpredictable, dangerous, but powerful, Samantha pressed. Powerful enough to cloak the entire base, and maybe even deflect the council ship. Too risky, Zix argued. Could destroy base, attract more attention. Another alarm blared. The council ship had entered lunar orbit. They were out of time. Samantha made a decision. We don't have a choice. Show me how to access the ancient core. For a moment, she thought Zix would refuse. Then, with a ripple of reluctant agreement, the alien interfaced with the central crystal. A hidden panel slid open in the floor, revealing a descending passage bathed in a pulsing, otherworldly light. Be cautious, Zix warned. Ancient technology. Alive in ways we don't understand. Samantha nodded, then began her descent. The passage led her deep beneath the alien base, the walls growing older, more organic in appearance. The bioluminescent markings she'd followed earlier were everywhere now, pulsing with an almost sentient rhythm. Finally, she emerged into a vast chamber that took her breath away. At its center floated a massive crystalline structure, pulsing with energies that made the air itself seem alive. This was the true heart of the lunar installation, a power source beyond anything humanity had ever dreamed of. As Samantha approached, the crystal's pulsing intensified. She felt a pressure in her mind, similar to how Zix communicated, but far more ancient and alien. Okay, she whispered to herself, you can do this. Just need to interface with an impossibly advanced alien power source. No pressure. She reached out, her hand hovering near the crystal surface. The energy made her skin tingle, her hair stand on end. Taking a deep breath, she pressed her palm against the cool, smooth surface. Instantly, her mind was flooded with images, sensations, and knowledge beyond human comprehension. She saw the rise and fall of civilizations across the galaxy, the ebb and flow of cosmic energies. And she understood. This wasn't just a power source. It was a key, a piece of a vast, galaxy-spanning defense network created by an ancient race long before humans had even evolved. With trembling hands, Samantha began to manipulate the energies, guided by instincts she didn't fully understand. She felt the power surge through the base, restoring systems and strengthening the cloaking field. But it wasn't enough. The council ship was too close, its scanners too powerful. Earth vessels were approaching from the other side. They were caught in a pincer, with discovery and potential extinction looming from both directions. That's when Samantha saw it, the true purpose of the ancient installation. It wasn't just a power source or a cloaking device. It was a guardian, designed to protect fledgling civilizations until they were ready to join the galactic community. With a mixture of awe and determination, Samantha triggered the activation sequence. The crystal pulsed with blinding intensity, and she felt the energy surge outward in an expanding sphere. Above, in the alien control room, Zix watched in amazement as the holographic displays lit up with new information. The cloaking field wasn't just hiding the base, it was bending space-time around the entire moon, creating a temporal bubble. To the outside universe, it would appear as if this region of lunar space was empty. The council ship and Earth vessels would pass by, unaware of each other's presence or the momentous events unfolding beneath the lunar surface. But the effect came at a cost. As the temporal bubble stabilized, Zix realized that time within the field was passing differently. What might be minutes or hours outside could be days or weeks within. Deep below, Samantha staggered away from the crystal, her mind reeling from the experience. She had done it. She had saved them from immediate discovery, but she had also changed everything. As she made her way back to the control room on shaky legs, the full impact of her actions began to sink in. She had not only protected the base, but had also given humanity an unexpected gift: time. Time to advance, to mature, to prepare for the reality of a wider galactic community. When she finally emerged, she found Zix waiting, its form rippling with a mixture of awe and concern. "What have you done, Earth being?" The alien communicated, its mental voice tinged with wonder. Samantha managed a weak smile. "I bought us some time." Quite literally, it seems. As they turned to the holographic displays, watching the Council ship and Earth vessels pass harmlessly by, Samantha felt the weight of her new responsibility settling on her shoulders. She had protected humanity from immediate threat, but in doing so, she had also taken on the role of guardian. Now, trapped in a temporal bubble with an alien researcher, surrounded by technology beyond human understanding, Samantha faced her greatest challenge yet. She had to prepare humanity for the stars, and she had to do it before the ancient power source failed and the bubble collapsed. The race against extinction had only just begun. Humanity's stand. Days turned into weeks within the temporal bubble surrounding the lunar base. For Samantha and Zix, it was a period of intense collaboration, learning, and preparation. The control room had become their command center, holographic displays constantly updating with information about the outside world and the state of the ancient power source. Energy level stable, Zix communicated, its form shimmering as it interfaced with the alien systems. Temporal field holding. Estimate 3 Earth months have passed outside bubble. Samantha nodded, her eyes fixed on a display showing the Earth. From this vantage point, she could see the faint flickers of increased space activity. More satellites, new lunar missions being prepared. Humanity was advancing, spurred on by the mysterious energy signatures they detected from the far side of the moon. "They're moving faster than we anticipated," Samantha mused. "The question is, will it be fast enough?" Their plan was audacious. Using the advanced alien technology and the knowledge Samantha had gained from the ancient power source, they had been broadcasting carefully crafted data packets to Earth. Encrypted within these transmissions were key scientific advancements, hints at new propulsion systems, energy sources, and materials that would accelerate humanity's technological progress. It was a delicate balance. They needed to advance human technology enough to stand a chance when the temporal bubble inevitably collapsed, but not so quickly as to draw the immediate attention of the Galactic Council. Zix's form rippled with concern. "Risky strategy. If Council detects interference." "I know," Samantha sighed, "but we don't have a choice. Humanity needs to be prepared." Their unlikely partnership had grown into a true collaboration over the weeks. Zix had come to appreciate the creativity and determination of its human companion, while Samantha had gained a deep respect for the alien's vast knowledge and patience. Together, they had made remarkable progress. They had repaired and upgraded much of the base's systems, integrating the ancient technology with Zix's more modern equipment. Samantha had absorbed centuries of scientific knowledge, her mind expanded by both alien teaching and the lingering effects of her contact with the ancient power source. But their time was running out. The energy readings from the core were becoming increasingly erratic. "Zix," Samantha said, a note of urgency in her voice, "I think we need to move to the next phase. It's time to make contact." The alien's form stilled, its opalescent eyes fixed on Samantha. "Dangerous. Could provoke conflict. Or it could be our best chance at a peaceful integration." Samantha countered, "We can't keep hiding forever. Humanity needs to know the truth, and they need to hear it from us before the Council intervenes." After a moment of silent communication, Zix rippled in agreement. "Very well. Initiating transmission protocols." Samantha took a deep breath and stepped up to the central crystal. They had prepared for this moment, crafting a message that would introduce humanity to the reality of galactic civilization without causing panic. As she placed her hand on the crystal surface, she felt the familiar rush of energy and connection. "People of Earth," she began, her words carried on a tight beam transmission to key scientific and governmental facilities around the globe. "This is Dr. Samantha Chen, speaking to you from a hidden base on the far side of the moon. What I'm about to tell you will change everything you thought you knew about our place in the universe." For the next hour, Samantha explained the situation, the existence of the Galactic Council, the quarantine on Earth, and the ancient technology that had been hidden beneath the lunar surface. She shared the advancements they had been secretly transmitting and outlined the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. As she spoke, Zix monitored the reactions from Earth. News of the transmission spread rapidly, and soon the entire planet was abuzz with excitement, fear, and wonder. But their revelation had not gone unnoticed elsewhere. As Samantha concluded her transmission, a new alert blared through the control room. "Council ships approaching," Zix communicated urgently. "Multiple vessels. Temporal field destabilizing." Samantha's heart raced. This was the moment they had been preparing for, but it had come sooner than expected. "How long until they'd reach the field?" "Minutes," Zix replied, its form rippling anxiously. "Earth vessels also approaching. Conflict imminent." Samantha closed her eyes, centering herself. Everything hinged on what happened next. Taking a deep breath, she opened a channel to both the approaching Earth ships and the Council vessels. "This is Dr. Samantha Chen, speaking on behalf of humanity, and in cooperation with Zix, a representative of the galactic community," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We request an immediate cessation of hostile approach and the opportunity for peaceful dialogue." For a tense moment, there was no response. Then suddenly, the displays lit up with incoming transmissions from both sides. The next few hours were a whirlwind of negotiations, explanations, and revelations. Samantha and Zix worked tirelessly, bridging the gap between human leaders and council representatives. They presented the progress humanity had made, showcased the potential for cooperation, and argued passionately for Earth's readiness to join the galactic community. It was Zix who delivered what would become the pivotal argument. "Humans possess unique adaptability," the alien communicated to the council. "In brief time here, this Earth being has mastered technologies beyond her species' development. Imagine potential if given chance." As the negotiations continued, the temporal field finally collapsed. The hidden lunar base was revealed to both Earth and Council ships. But instead of conflict, the revelation was met with cautious curiosity on both sides. In a historic moment, the leader of the Council fleet agreed to a provisional lifting of Earth's quarantine. Humanity would be granted a probationary period to demonstrate its readiness for galactic citizenship, with Samantha and Zix serving as intermediaries. As the sun rose over the lunar horizon, casting long shadows across the crater-pocked surface, Samantha stood at the entrance to the alien base. Beside her, Zix's form shimmered in the stark light. Before them, delegations from Earth and the Council were disembarking from their ships, preparing for the first official meeting between humanity and the galactic community. "We did it," Samantha breathed, still scarcely able to believe it. Zix's form rippled in what Samantha now recognized as contentment. Beginning only. Much work ahead. Samantha nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "But we've given humanity a chance to prove ourselves, to learn, to grow." As they walked forward to greet the approaching delegations, Samantha felt a profound sense of hope. The path ahead would not be easy, but humanity had taken its first true steps into a larger universe. And they had done it not through conquest or fear, but through cooperation, determination, and the uniquely human ability to turn a catastrophe into an opportunity. The stars, finally, were within reach.